God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion.
Welcome back to AFA Today on AFR Talk. I'm Buster Wilson. Don't forget you can connect with us online. Our Facebook fan page, all you have to do is go on Facebook, do a search for AFA Today. It'll bring you up to our Facebook fan page. Be sure to click the blue like button and become a family member on the Facebook crowd. Also, we'd love for you to follow me on Twitter. @BusterWilson is my handle. Come on now. I need some folks who can do something besides curse me and mock me to follow me. I have lots who don't. I have lots of new friends, though, on Twitter, in the Twitterverse, that love to mock our Christian views and mock the Bible and call God and Jesus names and me names, and that's okay. That's part of it. Sure would love to have a lot of you folks who don't feel that way following me on Twitter as well.
Hey, Buster?
Yeah.
If they're on your Facebook page, they get to hear you say more words like Christo-ecto-philosophology or... whatever. Is that what you were trying to say earlier?
Yeah, see, I told Jeremy, this is Jeremy Wiggins, by the way. I told Jeremy, I said, Jeremy, you need to come on and make fun of me about my attempt to get all those words out at once a while ago before Right Wing Watch does. We have a good heart here.
Punch.
Yeah. I was trying to say eschatology or eschatological.
Bless you.
And I think I included Christological, ideological, philosophical, theological, something all together in one, and it came out to
Christo-ecto-philosophology.
Something like that.
You sound like a crossword puzzle that just got shredded and thrown all over the place.
Once we figure out how to actually spell that, we'll put it online for you, and you can be smart like us. Have a new term at church this week that your pastor doesn't even know. He doesn't know it because it's not a real word, but that's beside the point. All right, continuing on now before I was so rudely interrupted. Love for you to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, of course. Thank you for doing so. We're talking about things that happened at the DNC last night. I, as a Christian and as someone who doesn't like being lied about and mocked, we played the story last of the DNC chairperson from Florida speaking about how Christians want to slaughter Jews so we can hasten the second coming of Jesus. No, we don't want that. There's no such end-time teaching that teaches that. There's nobody I know of that believes that or thinks that or follows that or wants to practice that. That is nothing more than a hatred, anti-Christian thing to say. Now, in light of that, or the DNC likes to think of themselves as the big tent party. They like to think of themselves as the tolerant one. For instance, Democratic followers and Democratic hacks, people like the Southern Poverty Law Center, which also stands for Speech Police Leaving the Constitution Behind, the Southern Poverty Law Center, people like that, they want to call us hate groups. They want to call us intolerant and narrow-minded, bigoted, and non-inclusive. But they aren't. They aren't, you understand. They are all-inclusive. Well, it took a comedy show. It took Jon Stewart's comedy news show. It took them to point out the truth of the lack of inclusiveness and tolerance on the part of the left. I want you to listen to this video. It came from a comedy news show, but it is all the people you're hearing are people that their correspondent interviewed at the Democratic National Convention last night. Listen.
Tolerance. It's one of the basic tenets of the Democratic Party. But is there truly room for everyone under the DNC's big tent?
There's one key message at the Democratic Convention that's just not in dispute.
We are the Big Ten party. We represent everyone.
We're definitely the arms wide open party.
We are the party of inclusion.
We have just about everybody you can possibly imagine in the party.
Yes, they were open to everybody.
Basically, we're Latinos, Hispanics, we're blacks, we're the LGBT community, we're women, We're poor.
Everyone's welcome.
Everyone's welcome.
Except
Unless you own a corporation, or if you're a hunter, a gun owner, white males.
Really, you want to lose all the white males?
They're a bunch of gun-toting hillbilly tea partiers. That's all I have to say. Bang, 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 bang.
Right.
Definitely.
how open are you?
Well, open enough to include everybody.
Oh, really? Who wouldn't you include?
We wouldn't include those beer-toting fakers down in Florida. The Tampa Convention guys.
You know the types.
Pot-bellied.
Church-going, small-minded, anti-science.
It's a bunch of 70 Sam hillbilly.
Whack job, evangelical, gun nuts.
They don't want to hear a message of difference and of hope.
What can you and I teach these whack jobs about inclusion? You go first.
You can't teach them anything.
Don't have a clue about science, very questionable on any kind of thought that involves more than 2 or 3 sentences.
We are the Big Tent Party, and we will let most anybody in unless, of course, they're carrying guns.
Right. Who needs that 146 million people in your party?
The Democratic Party, we don't stereotype, we don't generalize.
The teabaggers generalize because they're very narrow-minded people.
Right.
This has been historically the party of tolerance.
The teabaggers are the least tolerant group I have ever seen.
Right.
And they're destroying us.
Can you say that more dismissively?
Ugh. How's that?
I've always called them Nazis and evil, even before it was appropriate, actually.
These Christian evangelicals don't get it because I don't believe they ever actually read the Bible.
I have a feeling they have read it.
Well, possibly, but didn't
No,
grasp
more than possibly.
This is so inclusive. You know, we even invite the redneck freaks in.
We don't judge.
What don't they get about tolerance?
I would never call a redneck a name.
I don't know, I'm thinking like a couple of teeth, you know, hair out of place, maybe a nice gut.
Okay,
like
woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go down to Tampa and we're gonna throw a big party. I'm gonna put on my clean t-shirt and brush my teeth. Let's go! Pew, pew! Do it. Pew, pew!
The world would be very beautiful if we could just accept everybody's differences.
Exactly. Accept everyone's differences.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's differences.
Yes.
We need to accept everyone.
You mean I should accept them? Is that what you're saying?
All right,
Thank you,
go.
Sam and Jason.
There you go. That was Jon Stewart's correspondent grabbing different people around the DNC convention there in Charlotte, talking about the issue of tolerance and inclusion. Let me just run through just a few of the terms that these tolerant, big tent, all-inclusive Democrats used for folks like, I don't know, probably me and you, redneck freaks, hunters, gun owners, corporations, beer-toting, pot-bellied, church-going whack jobs, don't have a clue about science, can't put more than 2 sentences together, teabaggers, very narrow-minded people, teabaggers, worst, destroying us, they're the worst, Nazi, evil, I can't even read my own writing there, I was jotting it down quickly. Evangelicals who haven't even read the Bible. I want to tell you, again, all of this stuff today I've been playing for you are their own words. I'm not making this up. I am not throwing out commentary and parsing it to make it meet my need. This is not some vast right-wing conspiracy spin. We played for you the boos and the hisses of the delegates themselves at voting on putting the Bible back in the platform. We played for you the very words of himself, this Florida Democratic chairman, talking about how Christians are not friends of Israel. They're bad. They're the worst enemies Israel could have because they want to slaughter Jews in order to hasten the second coming of Jesus. And I just played for you the piece from Jon Stewart where he interviewed about 8 or 9 different delegates at the convention where they called The people they would not be inclusive of would be redneck, pot-bellied, church-going evangelicals who are teabaggers and the worst, most evil Nazi people in the world. These are their own words. The way these people are talking and willing to talk publicly in front of a mic, you would think a couple of things. One, you would think that they didn't know there was an election afoot. They certainly know that there is an election afoot. So the other thing we must ask ourselves is, if they know there is an election afoot, and if they know people like me and you are going to hear these things, you and I just heard them. I'm playing them right now for several hundred thousands of people a year. So they must not care what you and I think if we hear this. They've written us off. We don't matter. One of the constant criticisms from the right of President Obama, and you can judge for yourself whether or not it's fair. I'm just reporting that it does happen. Some of the criticism from the right of President Obama is that he puts the nation into the class warfare mode constantly. Is this not class warfare at its highest? Is this fair for people who talk about Southerners, Bible churchgoers, evangelicals, gun owners, and Tea Partiers? Is it fair for those people to call us bigoted and intolerant when they freely call us these names? One of these guys, you heard him say, I've always known them to be evil and Nazis before it was cool to call them that. In other words, it was starting to get cool among the Democratic bunch to call Southerners, churchgoers, gun owners, and Tea Partiers Nazis and evil. Folks, I'm telling you, the Democratic Party has a lot to answer for in this country. Talking about a great portion, if not more than half of the country, in this manner. You need to know how they think about you, and you need to let that sink in. We're going to have the president's own words and your phone calls when we come back. This is AFA Today on AFR Talk. I'm Buster Wilson. More explosive stuff. It's just getting good. It's going to get better yet. Stay with us. You don't want to miss it.